What impact do you think that the C20 had on the final communique from the G20 Leaders Summit?
I think it had a huge impact. I think the earlier drafts and then the drafts midway through, and then the final draft of the communique showed an extraordinary journey on issues like climate change, on issues like inclusive growth, on labour infrastructure plans that would have to include women, young people, and those who are poorer. So I think it had a very significant impact.
And what value did you and your organisation gain from being a part of the C20 collaboration?
Well, for World Vision, because we work in, over 100 countries, and some of the big poorer countries, China, India, Brazil, Indonesia, South Africa, their leaders, presidents, prime ministers are there. It's an extraordinary opportunity to have access, to know that they're hearing a message that hopefully resonates with what should be their national aspirations and, in our case, World Vision work around development. So a fantastic opportunity.
In 20 years' time, it will be Australia's turn again to host the G20. What advice would you give to the C20 organisers of the 2035 G20?
Well, I hope C20 by then will have a secretariat. It's a huge amount of work when you're voluntary and when you're unfunded. Civil society people are and should be the objects of the G20, but organising them in a way that shows legitimacy and representation without any secretariat is very difficult.
As the chair of the C20 this year, what would you reflect as being the great successes and perhaps the biggest challenges of the C20?
Well, the great success was a summit that really set up 4 issues that we focused on and organised around civil societies in G20 countries. The biggest challenge was that a couple of our areas of focus weren't our Australian government's focus, namely climate change as one of the big ones, and inclusive growth, which really was, including the bottom 20% of households. So when you have the presidency as Australia did and they don't want those issues really discussed, that is a great challenge. But the outcome certainly showed us that other nations did want those issues discussed, and thus the successful communique.
So for Turkey as the next G20 host?
So I think Turkey is really well set up now for a launching pad to mobilise people who right around the world are looking for hope, who need a break. To mobilise them because this communique here actually not only promised some things, but said we will be independently measured by whether we deliver those promises. And I think civil society at Turkey can really organise and galvanise.